Hey guys, and welcome to episode 142 of the Upper LA Podcast. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tim McGavick.
142?
Yeah, man.
Damn!
Also joining us is Adam Craney.
Didn't know we've been doing this so long.
No,
Take the one off. That's Tim's age. Am I right?
pretty close.
42. Let's run down some of the topics we're going to discuss on this week's episode. As usual, we're going to talk about the last film we watched this week, as well as a couple of trailers that we're going to talk about as well, including Robin Hood.
Oh,
We got The Yellow Birds, starring Alden Ehrenreich, Jennifer
that
Aniston,
title's so funny for some
Ty
reason.
Sheridan.
Ty Sheridan. And we also got Leave No Trace, starring Ben Foster,
And
and a newcomer.
newcomer girl. Don't know her name.
As well, if you do like this video, leave a like on it, leave a comment below in the comment section, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. So with that out of the way, Tim, what is your last scene?
I watched
film?
a little movie that's on Netflix right now
Oh, fuck.
from 1999.
What the fuck?
The 13th Floor, written by Joseph Rusnak, Ravel Centeno Rodriguez, and directed by Joseph Rusnak.
The 13th.
Never
Starring
mind.
Craig Bierko.
Who?
Don't know. Gretchen Mol.
Who?
You don't know Gretchen Mol from Boardwalk Empire? I want to say some other stuff.
I recognize the name, but I'm like...
You'll know this next guy, Mr. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Ooh.
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio?
Armin Mueller-Stahl, and Dennis Haysbert.
Oh, the State Farm guy.
I
Yeah,
don't-
Steve Farm guy, President from 24.
Yeah.
Getaway Driver from Heat. So after the murder of his mentor, Douglas Hall becomes the main suspect. In order to clear his name, Douglas enters the virtual reality simulation of 1937 LA that his company was developing in order to discover a secret that could clear his name.
Excuse me?
Wow. So I was just flipping through Netflix and I'm like, what is this movie? Like, such a generic title, and the still that they have is Vincent D'Onofrio with like bleach blonde hair, like combed over, and he's holding like this old this old timey 1937 gun. I'm like, what movie is this? So I look up the description. I'm like, okay, it's a little science fiction movie. 1989. It's kind of like around the same time as same year as Matrix, around the same time as Dark City, so it kind of has that same kind of
Strange
vibe-ish.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. I watched it.
And?
I really liked it.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't even say it's shit.
No. It's actually pretty good. Pretty solid,
Shocking.
story. Performances were pretty good from everybody, actually. Vincent. So it's cool because there's there's stuff that takes place in 1999 with all the characters, and then there's a virtual reality at the end that they jack into. I think this movie got slaughtered by The Matrix because effects are not good. There's one scene.
Is it like the Oasis, like Ready Player One kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of like, so there's this company hasn't put this out to the public yet.
Okay, they're beta testing.
They're still like beta testing it, and this one guy Armin, who's this older gentleman, he's the one that's kind of like running it all. So it's based off his memory of 1937, and he's modeled some of the simulated characters off people that he knows in real life. So the Craig Bierko character, he is in it. Vincent D'Onofrio, he plays a bartender in 1937, but he plays like a computer nerd guy in 1999. So they have like two different performances going on. And when you jack into 1937, you take over the avatar of that person that you look like.
Right.
So that was really cool. It was really different. Yeah, I don't know. I just enjoyed it. It was just like a...
What's the plot again? What's the premise?
So pretty much
besides that?
Armin gets killed.
Okay.
In 1989, he gets killed.
Oh, okay.
And Dennis Haysbert plays a detective, and the main suspect is this Craig Bierko guy. And he finds out that Armin has possibly left some clues.
Like an Easter egg?
An Easter egg. He knew that he's being tracked by someone, and they think it's because he was developing the software and this type of stuff.
Okay.
So he enters 1937 and jumps back and forth. So you can only go in for like an hour or two before your mind starts getting all fucked up.
Yeah.
So it jumps between 1937, they come out, he does some stuff, then he goes back in. So it jumps back and forth as he's like trying to figure out the mystery of who killed his boss and mentor. It's interesting.
Did you just make this up and you just watched Ready Player One?
Is this plot of Ready Player One as well?
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen Ready Player One?
No, I didn't see Ready Player One.
Holy shit.
No, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Like, it's definitely dated a little bit. there's one shot of effects that are just brutal. Like it looks like MS Paint is just like painted on the screen. But I'm like, it was like quick. It was like
Late
3. It was like 3
90s.
seconds. I'm like, okay.
It kind
That
of
was
reminds me of
the
Strange Days.
Yeah.
You guys seen Strange Days?
I haven't seen it.
Really? It's just like
It's been
that
on my queue for 3
late
years.
90s sci-fi kind of
Yeah.
future world.
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, and there's just like that
Oh, we have to make one.
that sheen of
Big
like
finds.
whenever there's like CG, you're like, ooh, that's like, ooh, that is computer generated graphics.
But it's fun. I was enthralled. I had to like pause it and leave my house for like half an hour, and I was like kind of sad. I was like, no, I want to know what's
The whole
happening.
time you're like,
Yeah? You're making me...
It's like
the 13th floor.
the 13th floor. So the
labs on
the labs on the 13th floor. They could have had a better title. Like
Like,
it was
come
a
on.
week. It was a week title.
They could have called it Strange Days.
Something like that. But I'm gonna hit it with a light 4.
Like,
Whoa!
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, I was
Crazy.
expecting this to be like just like a shit movie. But I was like,
Hidden
fuck.
gem?
I was like, I enjoyed it. I liked
Good
it, man.
Dirty.
Deep cut, hidden gem,
Deep cut,
sci-fi
yeah.
flick.
Check
from
it
the
out.
90s.
D'Onofrio.
It's fun, guys. Check
Get
it
the
out.
Noft.
Add
You got the Noft.
Yeah, he was great too.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was great in it.
Did you see my last scene?
No.
Adam, what do you got for us this week, bud?
Well, I haven't read the synopsis yet, so I'm just reading that right now.
Just a little scary, right? Looking at it.
Yeah. In his latest documentary, Sean Menard gives viewers an unprecedented look at Vince Carter.
You did watch it.
Carter Effect.
The 6'6", 8-time NBA All-Star from Daytona Beach who made waves in the Canadian basketball scene when he joined the Raptors in 1998.
I remember that.
Right?
Tirana.
Big day.
The
I remember
Tirana
that.
Raptors.
Slam dunk contest when he did the through the legs for the first time. It was
What
like and people went nuts.
Right?
Yeah.
Back when you were 30?
Not gonna.
My kids loved it.
Not gonna read the cast because it's like Drake and LeBron and Vince Carter. Now some context.
This is coming from a perspective of a diehard Raptors fan.
We are in Toronto. We are Canadian. My Raptors are currently down 0-3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I've been going through a purge. My theory is if I just watch every minute of it, I can let the past die like Kylo Ren. Kill it if I have to. I'm just going to feel every ounce of pain to just
Well,
get
by
me
the
through
time
this.
this video comes out, the Raptors will
It will
have
be
been
over.
fully-
Yeah, sorry.
Fully spanked by LeBron.
Yeah,
so.
as you're watching this, we've been swept and I'm crying. Yeah, so I wanted to relive the glory years a little bit. And
Glory years.
glory
moments.
exciting moments, maybe dunk contests or
Yeah.
no championship.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's fine. It's very fine. It's like
Is it because you already know the story? You already pretty much know the story.
yeah. I feel like it was stuff. Yeah, there was nothing that I was like, I didn't know that about Vince, or like, oh man, I don't know this chapter. I know I'm 25. I like grew up and lived this story in real time, right? Obviously, I was a little kid, but like they hit all the major points. The 2001 dunk contest, you know, the graduation on the day of Game 7, missing the game winner. So they try to. It is an interesting story. Like I
Falling
guess
out.
the falling out, of course. Yeah, I was scared that they were like going to gloss over that, but they did go into it.
Really?
They showed the clip of him being like, "Dunking's overrated. I'm never dunking again. Like this is fucked." Like I hate the Raptors basically.
Did it just cover? Was it like a Raptors centric thing, or was it his whole career?
It was just the Raptors
Glory
portion.
years, right.
It goes right to the trade of him getting traded to New Jersey when we got rinsed and cuts.
We got Alonzo Mourning though in that trade. Oh,
I don't know, guys.
yeah. This is
sorry.
You're not getting the context
This is
of
only
this.
for anyone
It's-
involved.
You should. I would say watch it if you don't know the story because there is a lot of crazy ups and downs. Like it is quite storybook, and then it just jumps to today, so it doesn't go through like his career post Raptors. But like just in terms of like the craft on the technical side, it literally is like YouTube footage compilation. Like there's no skill.
Some talking heads.
Talking heads, like Drake pops up and says he inspired the city, and you know we saw him at the dunk contest and felt like it was the first time we were ever represented in the NBA, and like he put the world.
It could be a Vice Sports video.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying.
yeah.
No offense to Vice
Except-
Sports, they have good documentaries. But
Even
I
that
just
would be
mean
better because I feel like it would be
edgier.
edgier and they would probably cut to like something. This is like they do get into the falling out with Vince, but it's very apologetic, and it's like at the end it shows like Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph with like inspirational music being like, he's our hero, like we wouldn't be in the NBA. That's 2 Canadian NBA players. We, like, you know, no, Andrew Wiggins, all these Canadian NBA players being like, we would never have made it without Vince. Like they show that after the fallout. So it's like, you know, like he's still inspired everybody.
He still did.
He did. You can't take it away, but I'm torn. Like I'm torn as a
Yeah.
massive Raptor fan. I'll never forget how he, you know, destroyed us,
Shit on the Raptors.
obliterated our souls, Thanos us. Yeah, he snapped. But that aside, like personal feelings aside, just as a documentary,
It was fine.
it's just so fine. Like you could YouTube, I'm sure, the equivalent of this. You know, there's just maybe won't be cameos from like big stars like Drake and like.
I guess it's kind of
It's cool.
it's interesting that it's gone
fine.
full circle since, you know, there was about a decade where Vince was booed heavily.
Yeah. Oh, his mom
anytime
goes into
he
it.
came to Toronto. So, you know, it's interesting to see this turnaround from him being beloved to him being hated for 10 years to now, you know, people are starting to appreciate the impact he had on Canadian basketball
Mm-hmm.
and in, you know, Canada.
Like they show the crying, the tribute. He came back at one point a couple years ago and had this big tribute and cried and like thanked all the fans. They finally gave him the standing ovation that he's wanted forever. It was storybook. It is storybook.
I think I played my cards too early with me knowing about the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, sorry.
save that one.
You would have blown my
Ugh.
mind. It is the best dunk contest ever. But yeah, overall, I have to give it a 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Heavy 3 or 3?
Go 3.
I think 3. But then part of me is like, is it unfair that I already knew all this and like should, you know, what?
Yeah.
But not really, because everybody already knows the OJ story, and apparently that documentary is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh, I gotta watch that.
I
Like,
haven't seen it, but
I just love documentaries where I go in blind.
that's
Yes,
the thing.
that's
the
me
best
too.
way to do
Like the
documentaries.
Imposter or something.
Yeah.
I literally,
Yeah.
you go
One
and
line.
clean.
Icarus.
Yeah, even that I don't
Searching
know.
for Sugar Man.
Yeah. This
The
is
less
like,
you know, the better.
you would agree with me then on this. It's like you
Shout
know
out to
everything.
Ty Graham, one of our, you know, good buddies. He watched
Shouts
the Carter
out.
Effect, and I was talking to him today, and he's like, "Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's fine. Like, I already know everything."
Yeah, that's why I wasn't like super hyped to see it. I thought maybe they'd go into psychology of Vince a little more, but it's more just like worshiping him.
It's you know, it's good for him to get some recognition, but
That's fair.
I've had no desire to watch it because I kind of feel like I already know.
It is only an hour, if that sways
That-
you,
Is helpful. That
right?
I might.
If it was 2 hours, I would never watch
No,
it.
no. I don't know if you could make it to our documentary about Vince.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so.
Unless you start talking about the Nets and
Yeah.
where else he played.
That was a missed opportunity. Would have liked to see him coming back in the playoffs facing the Raptors. If they touched on that, that would have been great because that was super electric. But
I'm gonna jump in.
Mm.
I'm not seeing.
R.I.P. Raptors.
I watched a little Netflix film. Came out this week.
Mm.
Carter Effect.
No, a little John Woo flick. Manhunt. Accused of heinous crimes he didn't commit, a prosecutor sets out on a mission to clear his name. You might have heard that a million times before.
Sounds very
Sounds like
familiar. Sounds like the
literally-
13th floor.
Any
Starring
movie.
Zhang Hang Yu, Masaharu Fukuyama,
Wow.
Ki Wei, and Ha Ji Won.
Mm.
Keyway.
It's a multinational cast. There's Chinese actors and there's Japanese actors. I guess only 2 countries, but
International still.
yeah, it's like this guy. He's a lawyer. He gets accused of like murder, and he goes on the run, and he's like framed by this company. And then there's this cop that's trying to chase him down. The cop starts to realize that maybe he was framed, and then they have like a team up thing. And they're like fighting the
And
corporation.
then murder a bunch of people.
Yeah, and it's like classic
I
John
mean-
Woo.
He is a murderer.
Honestly, this
Yeah.
movie, like, I don't know how many. Have you guys seen a lot of John Woo films? Have you seen any John Woo films
I've seen some, yes.
besides
think I've
Mission
seen
Impossible?
any.
Yeah, I've seen like one of his besides that one, I think.
Haven't seen any, but I know of.
Like, I think you kind of have to go into these films with, like, a different, like, mindset.
They're very over the top, right?
Yeah, like
I've heard this is over the top insane.
just the music on its own. You're like, what is this?
This should be
There's like
good.
this like melodic, like like weird music that you would not expect in an action
It's
movie.
like Mission Impossible 2, man. That score is so bizarre.
It's
What?
bonkers.
Yeah. There's
I
like
haven't seen
Moroccan like stuff going off, and there's like Spanish. Like I'm like, what is happening?
And just
Doves.
the
Doves.
action
Was
is
there
over
doves?
the top. Oh, there was doves.
Yeah.
There's doves.
There's a sequence where
I gotta see
they're driving. I don't know if it's like on an ATV or something, or maybe it's a car, and they like drive into this pigeon coop.
this. Oh, of course
And
they do.
it's like doves or pigeons, I don't know. And they burst the cage and they're like fighting, and there's like, you know, birds flying in front of them,
Oh
and it's
my
like
God, that's
there's like a
hilarious.
moment where like the guy like points the gun and then like a bird flies in front and like distracts him and he like kicks the gun.
Kicks the bird.
The gun.
Oh,
The gun. And you know, there's like Sea-Doo chases.
Sweet.
There's car chases. There's gunfights. It's just there's lots of slow mo. There's some freeze frame.
Did John Woo do Face Off?
yeah.
Yes.
Saw Face Off. I've seen like his American movies.
I did see in a review this is his best movie since Face Off, and they're like, and you could argue the merit of Face Off being good or bad.
Right. This is true. Yeah. Is that good or just kind of like wacky?
It's 90s good.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sheesh.
It's yeah. It's
Face Off.
it's wild. I wouldn't say it's. I mean, it depends what your definition of good is. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, what do you expect when
Was
you
it
go
enjoyable?
into it? It was
Or was it
fun.
like-
Honestly,
was
it
it
was fun.
fun? Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Did it do what it set out to do? Was it a fun
It did.
popcorn flick?
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sort of. It was a little bit predictable in the sense that there's certain characters you're like, okay, instantly I can tell what's going to happen with this character. This person's bad. This person's good.
Right.
You know, that's this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing about John Woo is like, he's still kind of, he's just wild. Like, he's just all over the place. Like, you can kind of appreciate his skill, you know, in crafting action sequences, because like they're pretty exciting and there's lots of new things, that interesting moves that they do in the scenes, and sort of beats of the action that you're like, okay, whoa, that was interesting. I didn't expect that. Or
Really?
you know, the actual plot itself and like the acting, for some reason they talk English, like
What?
the lawyer, like the main guy, he's Chinese, and the detective is set in Osaka in Japan. So all the police officers and a lot of people that work for this corporation are like Japanese, but there's a few Chinese characters. He's Chinese, and so they don't always talk Japanese to each other or Chinese to each other, because one's
They
Japanese,
probably
one's
don't know,
Chinese.
yeah.
So they talk English to each other.
Yeah.
And it just, I think we've had this conversation before. When people aren't speaking in their native tongue and they're trying to act,
It feels
just,
stilted
it
sometimes.
feels, it feels off.
So is it subtitled? The
It's
movie?
subtitled. Even the English is subtitled in English on Netflix. They subtitle everything.
So how much English speaking is there? It's not entirely.
It's like
English.
40% English, I'd say.
That's bigger than I thought. That was
30,
100%.
40% English. There's a lot of Japanese and Chinese as well. But whenever the two main guys talk to each other, which is a decent amount, then it's in English a lot of times. And there's some characters, for some reason, like there's these two Japanese characters that are just by themselves, and one of them's talking Japanese and one's talking like English.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you
that-
just talk Japanese. You're both Japanese. It was a little odd
I hate
sometimes.
that.
And I don't know if maybe it was dubbed too. Like, it looked like dubbed at some points. Like, I'm looking at their mouth and I'm like, you didn't actually just say that, did you? Like, see, you were dubbed. You were overdubbed.
Johnny Woo.
Weird.
It's just kind of this weird nitpick, because like whenever they were talking English, I'm like, oh, that didn't. Gotta work on your pronunciation there. Like, it just didn't feel natural. So like the line delivery, it just wasn't very natural.
Yeah. Happens with accents a lot too.
And when they're talking their native language, not that I can understand what they're saying necessarily, obviously subtitled, it just felt more natural.
Yeah.
Like the actual delivery was more natural. That's sort of a minor nitpick. Back to the, the actual movie itself. I mean, it's just wacky. It's crazy. It's just a bunch of fun. That's all I can really say.
Love it.
That's what I've heard.
Another one thing is like the CG. Again, it's kind of like you can kind of push that aside because it's a wacky action movie, but the CG is done in such a weird way. Like to incorporate two different shots together, it would like do this weird like zoom thing. Weird. You can tell it's like two different shots that they just like CG the middle, the blur, or like certain.
I think
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's this weird glossy thing that you see with like a lot of like B movies and stuff, where like some actions you're like there'd be like this weird motion blur thing.
Yeah,
that's clearly CG.
Yeah,
weird.
But like something will fly across the screen.
I always wonder what that is actually.
That's like it's CG, but maybe there's like a car like zooms in front or something that a lot of movies would have done it in camera. They just like CG it or something that's quickly moving, or like the birds, for example, flying. Sometimes they'll just be like a CG bird. You know what I mean? It's like it's just weird moments of CG that kind of takes you like, whoa, well, that's weird, or like weird action blurs that just don't look real.
My favorite.
But honestly, I'll give it a heavy 3. It's a lot of fun. It's John Woo. He's back, I guess.
He's back. Woo's back, baby.
I guess he's back to doing the same thing from the 90s, just in the
2018.
the 2010s. I don't know what they call this decade.
2010s.
The 2010s. But yeah, check it out. It's on Netflix right now. I know you said you might be watching it.
Well, I'm watching it later.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah, and Psychokinetic or whatever. That other new Psychokinesis or something.
Oh,
Japanese movie from Train to Busan guy for Korean.
Oh, that
really?
You actually want to see that? Holy shit!
I haven't seen anything.
Train to Busan is great.
You haven't seen the trailer for it?
No, I'm going off Train to Busan, which I love. So
really, we were gonna review the trailer once. And it looked atrocious, so we skipped it.
So good.
On that note, let's move to our news topics. We got a couple trailers to discuss. Let's start off with a nice little war flick. We got The Yellow Birds starring Alden Ehrenreich, Ty Sheridan.
Yeah.
I want to say like Taylor Sheridan or something.
That's the writer.
Ty Sheridan. We got Jennifer Aniston, Toni Collette, and Jack Houston.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Huston. Boardwalk Empire.
He said it.
And Ben-Hur.
Yes. Yeah. Let's not mention Ben-Hur. Gloss over that part.
Tim, what do you think of The Yellow Birds?
I am surprised how good this looks, actually. There's a lot of like war movies that come out that kind of just don't really do anything. I don't know if it's
that one with Jamie Dornan where he's like, it's some straight to Netflix war movie.
Yeah, exactly like that.
I expected that.
Yeah, that's what I expected. And then I don't know if it's just the way the trailer's cut, but it's cut really well with like it's pretty much a scene with Toni Collette and some other guy, cut with like shots of the movie happening. Looks really good. I gotta say,
everyone looks solid.
Everyone looks great in it.
Alden Ehrenreich looks good.
He looks really good in it. Ty Sheridan looks really good. Jack Houston looks good. Jennifer Aniston looks good.
Yeah.
Toni Collette looks good. Like, I'm in. I can't wait.
I
Written by David Lowery, if you figured that out.
Yeah. Directed by?
No, directed by some other guy. But he wrote Ghost Story and Ethan Body Saints.
What was that movie that everyone was hyping up? What's his name? The director that did
the Ang Lee movie.
Yeah, Ang Lee.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was really excited about the movie and I never saw it.
I know, I was so hyped.
March of something, right? It's like the...
It reminds me of that because it's like the whole PTSD thing. It's like
Barry Lyndon's long...
Barry Lyndon.
It's not Barry Lyndon. It's like someone's halftime walk.
Yeah.
Billy Lyndon.
Billy Lynn?
Billy Lynn's long halftime walk.
It's Kubrick, Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon. Adam, what do you think? Are you in Yellow Birds?
I completely agree. I was blown away that it looks good.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know. Like I just saw Alden Ehrenreich's face.
Ehrenreich?
How do you say his name? Ehrenreich?
Ehrenreich, I guess.
Ehrenreich?
It's like the anglicized way of saying it.
I was like, this looks gross. And then you go in, and yeah, everyone's giving these like amazing performances. There seems to be some intense, suspenseful like war action scenes.
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston looks good. I like the note it ends on.
You guys remember the Barry Lyndon's Long
Barry
Halftime
Lyndon.
Walk trailer?
Yeah, it looked amazing.
I mean, that was fucking hype trailer.
Yeah.
4K, like filmed in
Looked
4K
amazing,
or
yeah.
something.
Can be heroes just for one day, whatever.
Brandon's very
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks good.
Very-
I'm kind of on the fence if the movie's going to be good or not. It could be one of those things where it's like the performances are really good, but the movie's like, meh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like everyone involved. Like, you know, everyone looks fantastic, but
Ty Sheridan.
I'm kind of on the fence, to be honest.
I would probably agree just because these type of war movies tend to
It might be
not
boring.
be great.
It might be boring.
But I don't know. It looks good.
We'll see. We'll have
Looks
to
very
see
good.
when the movie comes out. Let's move on. We got this one's a little bit bigger budget, I think. A little bit, more hyped. We got Robin Hood.
Ooh.
Who's under the hood? Who is it?
Taron
It's Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton. We got Jamie Foxx. We got Jamie Dornan. We got our boy
Ben Mendy.
Ben Mendy.
Ben Mendelzino.
Adam, let's start with you. What do you think of Robin Hood? Is this the King Arthur of
This is the
2018?
untold story.
It's the movie we've all been asking for.
Right.
the
Another
Another
one.
Another one.
Jamie Foxx looks great. I don't. There's parts that look terrible, and I'm like, this is a fucking terrible generic blockbuster. There's other parts that look pretty cool, like some of his seeming like practical arrow shooting and like jumping off horseback and triple arrowing guys, very Legolas-esque. There's some cool practical like army live extras on screen, like epic scale looking stuff, but
And then there's also very bad CGI catapults at the same time.
Crusade catapults
Just
looked
Crusade
horrendous.
I was like speechless. I was like, what? No!
The same movie?
The explosions.
Like
and stuff.
Assassin's Creed or something, like straight like video game level. Like
Assassin's Creed looked good. Let's be
I'm
honest.
saying like the video game Assassin's
Right.
Creed.
Okay, right.
Someone's like showing you like video game footage out of fucking nowhere. I think it's probably gonna be shit, but there was stuff that looked like okay. I've never been into Robin Hood. Like I don't like any Robin Hood movie. I don't think.
You don't mean like the 1977 classic
No,
where he's a fox?
I guess when I
great.
was a kid. Yeah.
I do
I
like
know,
I like
saw it as a
the
kid.
Kevin Costner
In
one,
theaters.
Robin Hood. I don't know if you guys have seen
I
it.
have, yeah.
That one's decent.
I heard it's
fine.
fine.
It's decent.
I don't like. I
Albert's
just don't
rated.
care. I just not into Robin Hood. It reminded me of King Arthur, Guy Ritchie, which I don't like. So I'm out.
Who directed this?
Not Guy Ritchie.
Otto Berthins or Berthix?
Otto Bathurst?
Otto Bathurst? Whoever the
Interesting.
fuck that is.
Interesting. Yeah, it does look like an extension
Yeah.
of the King Arthur universe. But
Crossover?
King Arthur, I don't hate King Arthur.
I liked it.
Honestly,
I don't like
like
it.
watching the trailers, like for King Arthur, you're like, oh, this is gonna be dog shit. This looks atrocious. But I had the same feeling about this trailer. Like, honestly, it doesn't look good. He's doing the like, I'm Robin Hood, but I have like multiple, identities. So I'm like playing against myself, and it's kind of like that's witty, right?
That is a twist on the story. He's like noble birth in this.
Yeah, it's kind of they're definitely doing a different spin on it
Yeah.
than what we've seen,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But we'll see. It's different, but I don't know if it's better. You know what I mean? But also, you kind of have to be different, or else it's just why even do it, right? But the action looks interesting. It looks sometimes good and sometimes really bad, like you said. The arrow stuff is interesting. It's like, I remember seeing some video on YouTube that went viral maybe like 8 years ago, of some dude doing this practical, like super fast shooting where he has all the arrows in his hand and he's doing this. And it reminded me of that because that thing blew up and people were like, oh, they didn't actually do that back then and blah, blah, blah. And it sort of reminds me like, we need to like cash in on this cool arrow firing techniques. And that's the cool angle for the Robin Hood thing. It's like
The
he's super
director has
athletic.
done a few episodes of Peaky Blinders. he's only done TV, so I'm assuming that was like the closest thing. They're like, oh, it's kind of same vibe.
Oh, it's like English.
Black Mirror, the first ever episode of Black Mirror, directed.
Really?
National anthem.
So might say the best one.
To me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Alan Taylor did some Game of
Yeah.
Thrones episodes. That's sick, right? Oh, right. He made the shittiest Marvel movie.
That's what I always think too.
Um,
Alan Taylor.
Thor? The Dark World? Okay. Okay.
You're like, oh, perfect fit.
yeah, Robin Hood. I don't know. Ty's gonna be fucking hype.
Ty, we are sorry. We know you're hype. Yeah, I'll speak for him. I'm hype. Looks amazing.
It's like Guy Ritchie meets
Guy Ritchie.
Taron Egerton. Oh my god.
Kingsman, fucking, and King Arthur all in one. Let's move on. We got another kind of. This one's sort of more like an indie.
I just won't say what thing about Robin Hood, I guess.
Did you not speak on
Not
it?
speak on it.
Sure, I thought you did.
I know how
I'm
Ty
so
feels
sorry.
now when we skip over him. Looks
You
bad.
are Ty. Well, straight bad. Shit.
Yeah, straight bad. Again, yeah, I agree. There's a few things that look cool, but overall, it's gonna be bad. There's no way it's gonna be good.
Like a father figure to me, man. I trust you.
No way.
True. Okay, now let's move on.
Yeah.
We're switching from a blockbuster to an indie. We got Leave No Trace, starring Ben Foster as a former soldier, a vet, I think, with some PTSD issues. He's squatting with his daughter, and it's a little drama. I'm getting some Captain Fantastic vibes. So I know you guys were thinking that.
Shit.
So I was like,
I love that movie.
honestly, this movie looks great. Like, you know, it's not like these other ones where it's like action, but you know what? Sometimes you just need to cry. Sometimes you just gotta let it
I
tear
got
loose.
weepy eyed in the trailer.
The trailer's got moments.
I
I
may
mean,
have needed.
fuck.
I may have had an allergy or two
Oh,
acting.
holy shit!
Ben Foster not playing a creep.
It's
been a while.
Seemingly playing a loving dad.
I'm excited.
I don't know. I'm fucking in. I'm
Yeah?
100% in. It's gonna be a heavy 4. I can feel it.
Yeah. Preemptive heavy for
Yeah.
for the crying, for the feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be.
This
Broken
newcomer girl, I
glass.
don't know what her name is, but she looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks just like so natural.
She just feels. Yeah, she just looks super natural.
That line though. I don't have the same problems as you, Dad. I was like, ah, shit.
Tim, what do you think?
Looks great. Yeah, I love Ben Foster. Big fan of his
Ben
since
Foster.
I think the first time I remember seeing him was in 30 Days of Night, where he plays that creepy dude in the jail for like 3 minutes.
Freaks and geeks.
He has a lot of those like 3-minute.
Yeah, he does like he
cameos.
pops up as like really creepy characters or like just like redneck characters, a la Hell or High Water.
Alpha Dog.
And he does the odd one where he's
Hostiles.
just like really good. Yeah, Hostiles. He usually plays like creepy or like mean dudes. The only ones he hasn't been was like Pandorum.
Your favorite film?
It's a great movie. But yeah, it's great seeing him in like a
Yeah.
emotionally ranged movie. I'm excited to see what
He's
he
kind
does.
of on a roll lately.
Yeah, he always does
Yeah.
his thing.
He's doing some solid indies.
Yeah,
Getting it done.
and done.
What do you
Yeah,
think, Adam? Leave No Trace.
I'm all in. I left a trace of tears down my eyes. Just from a trailer, I was very, very emotionally affected. Director of Winter's Bone, which I liked a lot.
Right.
Pretty exciting. I don't know if this is the first thing she's done since, but I'm in. I'm all in.
I don't know if it is, or that's just her most highly acclaimed.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
Well, that was a movie they even mentioned in the trailer that this newcomer girl is like the next Jennifer Lawrence.
right.
Yeah, that was a.
A little cringy, but
yeah,
I mean, it might be true. You know,
anything's possible, man.
anytime there's like that breakout performance, and you see,
Let me see what
you know, people are talking about it in a sense. Like I think it played at Sundance,
Yeah.
and people were loving it. Anytime there's that buzzy actress, like I just think of like Anya Taylor-Joy. Like they just blow up and they end up becoming the next X-Men person.
Yeah.
Like the next. Yeah, it's
Very
it's interesting. It's cool to see these up and coming actors.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it for episode 142 of the Upper Late Podcast. Tim, where can people find us?
People can find us on Twitter at Upper Late. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Upper Late Podcast. And you can find me personally on Letterboxd on Upper Tim and Instagram at The Craft Pundit.
Does Ty say anything important here?
I did it already.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Franny25 and Instagram and Letterboxd at UprealAdam.
Find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at UpRealScott. And yeah, guys, like I said earlier, if you do enjoy this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below in the comment section if you want to join our discussion. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, keep it real.